Just 20 years ago, hardly any Chinese citizens owned their own cars. But by last year, the number of private car registrations in China had topped 100 million. China has already overtaken the U.S. as the world's largest car market, and by 2020, Chinese buyers could be buying more than 30 million cars each year. Of course, with all those cars come millions of fart can exhausts, matte black paint jobs, and other personalized touches. Today on After Drive, we talked to Beijing aftermarket parts business expert Tony Sun, who gave us the lowdown on car modding in China's capital, why performance tuning may be illegal in China, and how the Chinese government is investing big in the chrome rims and huge deck spoiler market. It's Drive in China, today on After Drive. So welcome to After Drive. Follow us on Tumblr at /drive.tv, at Drive on Twitter, and Facebook.com/DriveTV. So as you may or may not know, Drive recently landed in Beijing, People's Republic of China. We wanted to find out about the car modifying revolution we've been hearing about there, and while we might stop short of calling it a full-on revolution just yet, we can say the automotive aftermarket in China is growing. In fact, SEMA, the organization that represents many of the world's performance parts suppliers, and of course you know it from SEMA show in Las Vegas every year, now has a local office in Beijing. So we met up with local SEMA rep Tony Sun, who gave us a lift to a great barbecue joint and some clarity on China's expanding market for car modding. And that is right now on After Drive.
Well, auto industry itself is a new industry.
Yeah.
Chinese people started to have our first cars just about 17 or 18 years ago. So aftermarket is even newer, I would say, in China. And only the very rich, it seems to me, or those people who have who once lived overseas, really know what aftermarket is.
Are there things in popular culture that in China that are encouraging people to modify their cars, or that in a certain way, kind of cultural points like Fast and Furious, the movies and things like that, or is it just for people going over to Japan and the United States and other places?
I would say that we found that a lot of people who are in this industry either lived overseas or who travel very often overseas.
Yeah.
So those people actually brought it back to China and introduced it to the Chinese people. So it's really new, the aftermarket. Well, you talk about aftermarket, probably all people think about is repair and replacement,
Right.
I would say. So as for high performance or other things, actually it's totally new. I would say, as far as we learned from those people who are in this industry now, they used to be in the repair and replacement business before they got into this. Probably they were also another group of people who first realized the value of this market.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What kinds of cars are you seeing mostly high-end cars, or are you seeing maybe some cars from the lower end, some grassroots, maybe some younger people who are getting into it with lesser expensive cars?
I would say it's young and rich.
Mm-hmm.
Both. They have to be young. Most of those enthusiasts are very young, in their 20s or 30s, and they have to be very rich. This is still a rich people's game, not the grassroots. Some people probably yes. A few days ago, I watched a TV program. It says that a guy from Hebei province, which is not far away from here, actually he spent so much money on modifying his cars and participated in a lot of racing competitions, that made him almost go broke. And his family, his wife, complained so much about it. So I would say, generally speaking, it is the young and rich.
Well, that happens in America too. A lot of marriages are broken up over car modifying. But so is it mostly cosmetic things, or are you seeing? Or is there performance enhancements and things like that too?
I would say we are going to performance enhancement right now. And at the very beginning, probably they put a spoiler on the back.
Yeah.
They paint their cars in a different way. And they have a more modern equipment, interior things, or audio, those sort of things. But it seems to me that a lot of people would like to have high performance parts now. But this is the very beginning, I would say.
We were talking before, and you were telling me that some of the performance modifications are actually illegal to do. Why is that? Is that a safety thing, or is that an insurance thing?
From the point of view of the government, I would say they worry so much about safety on the road, you know. Just 20 years ago, most of the people were still on bicycles,
Yeah.
you know. So cars is a new thing to our society, and the government officials worry very much about the safety. After you make it faster, you change the brakes,
Yeah.
and especially a lot of more and more people are buying SUV and Jeep and those kind of vehicles. You know, they go to desert, and I would say, from the point of view of the government, yes, they worry very much about the safety, and they don't really trust those businesses who put it on. You know, mostly it is not the so-called 4S. Do you understand those? 4S, the car dealer. You purchase your car from the car dealer, and you are supposed to take your vehicle back there to repair it, or to modify your vehicles. And most of the 4S businesses, they don't do this kind of business to modify their vehicle.
Right.
They are considered high standard, you
Yeah.
know. Most of the Chinese, they believe that the stock parts are the quality parts, you know.
Right.
They believe that, oh, this is OEM parts. Oh, it means it is high quality.
Right.
They don't really know that the aftermarket could be higher quality products.
Right. So tell me a little bit about Tuner Tribe. It's a brand new incubator almost of aftermarket businesses. Tell me about what it actually is.
This Tuner Tribe is located in the eastern part of Beijing, which is a county that is called Wangsiying County. You know, it is very interesting. Each government very much want to grow their economy in their own region, their own area, and to generate more revenue, more tax. You know, it happens this way that quite a few of the counties in the eastern part of Beijing, they have a lot of the so-called 4S new car dealership.
Yeah.
They grow it that way because their strength, their advantage is that they have lots of land in this area, and which has been cheap in the past.
Okay.
You know, 4S businesses, they need big space and not very costly, because those people who want to buy cars, more likely actually, they have their own cars, or they have their friend who could take them to a faraway
Right.
place.
Yeah.
And they don't have to be in the city center. Only the very high-end car dealers choose to have their 4S stores in the city, like Bentley, like Rolls-Royce. They are in Wangfujing area. Oh, very high, very expensive places. But generally speaking, even now, actually, some good brand like Audi dealership, they are also moving outward because they need big space. They also need to provide.
And land is getting pretty expensive.
Very expensive. Very expensive. So that's why the local government, they have so many car dealership businesses in this area in the first place. And then actually it is becoming so competitive. If they put one car dealership in another one, and they are competing with themselves. They have to find a new niche market.
Right.
And then it seems to them, this is very close to car dealership. And the local government, the county, Wangxiying, they turned down a lot of like vegetable markets, those very low value added businesses. They turned it down 5 years ago. And then they borrow some money, loan some money from banks, and they put in this very charming facility for this new business. They believe that that's going to be the future for the car industry.
So the value add business is something that it's interesting that they're aware of it in a way that they're looking for it as something, you're looking toward it as something to enhance the existing new car market by putting it sort of out by the dealership, so you could theoretically buy a car and bring it right over to have it modified.
They try to make it a success because this is totally new.
Well, tell me about what it is. I mean, is it how is it set up? I mean, it's a big complex with lots of different tuning shops there? Is that how that works?
The first seems to me they have 3 stages or 3 phases. You know, they have completed 2 stages. The very first stage, they targeted tuning shops, tuning businesses. So the establishment or the facility is so beautiful, so charming, and it fits very high-end tuning businesses or aftermarket businesses. So all of a sudden, it became such a success. They attracted a lot of well-established tuning businesses to the first phase. And every year, actually, they have tuner tribe festival. Like yesterday, they have another gathering of the hardcore enthusiasts. You know, it became rather like the highland of aftermarket. You know? So every once in a while, they have those kind of festivals full enthusiasts all the time. You know, it is.
Now, are the shops that are opening up there, are those local businesses, or are those China-based arms of other aftermarket companies, big companies, or?
We have both.
Okay.
You know, we have both local tuning shops, and also distributors who sell foreign brands in China. So this is the first stage. The second stage, they call it something like factory. So they try to attract a little bit different business to it. And the third stage is they are trying to attract or target high-end, low-volume car dealers. That's what they are working on. Probably like Bentley, and they are targeting those kind of businesses. They have great vision.